Strummin Time Live reunion. I'm your host, Curtis Blackwell, along with yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, Mike RANSTROM, the world famous, renowned guitarist Mike RANSTROM, just waking up. So let's kick things off. I'm your host, Curtis Blackwell, otherwise known from the Strummin Time Live days, public access, Commander CURT, aka Watchful Willie, and the gentleman playing right now is Mike RANSTROM. So take it away, Mike, and welcome to Strummin Time Live reunion 2020.
This sounds cool. Was a little tune called Wheels.
Wheels.
Yes.
We're coming to you live.
And this is Flat Wheels.
We're coming to you live from Solid Video Productions Studios in Bothell, Washington. If you have something that you'd like to have recorded or videoed, an event, go to solidvideoproductions.com. Solidvideoproductions.com.
This is a nice video room here. Video room A. It's gorgeous, man. It's got a picture of Natalie Wood. I forget the name of that, but it's a cool tune.
How cool was it?
Oh, no, it was, Chic of Air would be cool.
Once again, Mike RANSTROM.
I messed that one up.
We are live, coming to you from Strummin Time Live Reunion and the Solid Video Production Studios live. So there's no playback. You are on.
We're live. Live.
This is kind of cool.
I kind of messed that up a little bit, but it's a cool song. Oh, those are the great words of Les Paul. Leave it in, leave it in.
let's talk a little bit about the Strummin Time Live. You first came in back in we first went on air live in 1990.
The day after I got released from the mental hospital, yeah.
That's true. And you learned how to play your guitar?
I'm much better now. Yeah, guitar therapy, man. That's what I learned, you know.
And your first appearance on Strummin Time Live was with Commander CURT, me, and that was 1990, our first live show. And
I remember the day after you got out of the nut house. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've always been nutty. You know, I was coming nutty.
I'm just kidding. We were never in the nut house. You know.
I know.
Just,
but the first show. Remember how when we were doing that show, you had your jazz guitar friend, and there was a couple other people there, and you took Commander CURT me hostage.
Yes, and, I remember that. I remember it well.
Yep, and there was
duct taped you to the chair and got in trouble for using the studio's duct tape.
Well, yeah, public access. That was the thing. We were always on a budget, and the great thing about that first show was that.
You know what the guy told me?
What's
after we duct taped you to the chair, he said you wasted all that tape and you didn't put any on his mouth. That's what he told me, man.
Well, you know, but that's how Strummin Time Live started. Was from just out of nowhere, and we used to do called the Commander CURT Show. So you'll have to tune in later on.
Now they have gorilla tape.
Next week, sometime I'm going to be reviewing a lot of the shows and showing the best of on Strummin Time Live. This is kicking it off.
Cool.
And also practice here for Salvity Productions, our live production.
Yeah, I can get my fingers in shape. You know.
Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, long story short was that we started in 1990, and we ran all the way till 2007 with lots of changes, and then in between there, and all kinds of guest stars. We had J.P. Patches, Stan Borson, Pat O'Day, a lot of famous people that I grew up with, celebrities, and it was a lot of fun. So
had Lee Fletcher on there?
Lee Fletcher, yes. Great. We always had great musicians. They had bands, and the thing about setting up the projects and setting stuff up was that we have a big. Every time I have a band, there was a show because it was every half hour, and we'd be setting the band up. So I'd be there. We only had 20 minutes to get everything set up and get audio checked. So we had everybody run around. It was a family fun show. It ran from 1990 live, 1990 all the way to 2007, and a lot of years.
And then there was that time that we couldn't find Etta Jones's false teeth.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, Mike.
Don't kick my butt, Etta. Is she still alive?
I don't know. I think she passed away. She was, we'll talk more about that later. Let's hear another song. You're watching Strummin Time Live Reunion with Commander CURT and Mike RANSTROM.
Lies is the name of that. It's almost holy. Anyway, that's I keep thinking of that heavy dude that sang that and did it in that rhythm, you know, with the ukulele. You know, I thought it was cool, Over the Rainbow bit.
That was from not Alice in Wonderland, but from
I don't know, but he was cool.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, but did the heavy dude, the Samoan dude, or the
Oh yes, from Hawaii.
yeah, he did that so good. You
We
know,
have that
just,
album.
Just somewhere over the rainbow.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you that today's program is copyrighted under Solo Video Productions. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved. If you'd like more information, go to our website.
There goes my whole bootlegging plan.
Just kidding. No. But if you have something going on video.
I wasn't kidding, man. I had made a deal with CBS. You know.
Oh well, you know, CBS.
That's okay. They're fake news anyway.
Yeah. So before you start playing one of your tunes again, I remember one of the most memorable shows was when you had you came on and you were with a gentleman died of cancer. He made the anyway. He was playing and he was a car salesman. That guy, he was very well into his name. You remember his name? I forget his name, but that was
You're talking about Lucky Lee.
Lucky Lee, but there's also a gentleman later on. He died of cancer.
He was a Nashville singing star, but that's the same as a car salesman.
Yeah, well, you know the gentleman that made the box, that wanted to get the box.
Oh, you're talking about Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah, he had AIDS actually. He died
Yeah,
of
well,
AIDS,
you know, he was so very powerful.
Invented the balancing act, and we gave the business to his kids. I don't know what they're doing with it.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that that's pretty cool. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mike RANSTROM on a Strummin Time Live reunion.
Cool. What am I playing? I forgot. Just anything that comes to mind. Something's gonna be an E, you know. I'll do that one again. I was just messing around. Whatever it wasn't good. So.
I'm loving this. It's amazing how technology used to take all the big Johnny equipment, and I'm able to, with my iPad right here, have 3 cameras going at once. That's what you've been looking at. So, welcome again to Strummin Time Live reunion with Mike Ranstrom and Commander Kurt. We're
Very high tech in here, man. It's very high tech.
Very what?
Very high tech.
Well, yeah. You gotta be high tech. Once again, Mike Ranstrom.
Mr. Sandman there. Because a lot of people didn't know there was a Mr. Boogeyman, because there's a Mr. Sandman. You know. I mean,
You know what's funny is that when I first met Mike back in 1984, 85, it's interesting because he told me he knew Chet Atkins and a few of these other guys that he had played with and knew personally. I go, come on, because I've met a lot of people over the years, you know.
I remember when we met. Now they have them bars everywhere.
No.
Just kidding.
No, seriously, Chet Atkins was and I questioned Mike. I said, "You gotta be kidding me." He said, "No, I'll go call him right now." So he gets on the phone and, "Hey, look, how you doing there?"
Oh, it's you again.
Yeah. And so
leave
Mike,
me alone, you psycho.
I remember, you know, he goes, somebody believes doesn't believe it, and put me on the phone, and he goes, "Hi, how you doing?" And I've believed Mike ever since that time out. Because, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes to believe, you know, oh, I know someone. Well, anyway.
Actually, Lee Fletcher knew him. I didn't really know him. Lee just gave me his number.
Lee Fletcher.
Then I got to know him. And I'm not sure Chet was happy about that. Because, you know, I bugged that guy so much. How do you do this? How do you do that? And he was so nice he wouldn't hang up on you.
Let's talk about Lee Fletcher. He was one of the first people that appeared on the program also.
Lee Fletcher could do anything on the guitar Chet Atkins could do.
Yeah.
He was a shut-in. He had kind of had autism when he was a kid. And, he went down there to Nashville with his dad, Roy, and I guess Chet was babysitting him or something and taught him how to play guitar.
How'd you meet him?
I met Lee Fletcher at Ed's Tavern. He come in, he says, "You play a little like Chet." He says, "You want to learn how to do it right?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And he proceeded to show me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he come up and we did Sweet Georgia Brown. He says, "You know, I'm going to do a Jerry Reed run there." He goes, "I'm going to do this." And I said, "Okay, I'm not worthy," you know. So you learn how to do it right. You're doing something wrong, boy. Don't play that note. Yeah. Which one? I don't know. Just don't play any of them.
And I remember many times in the early days when we was called the Commander CURT Show. Remember how we first started?
Yeah, I got one more thing I'd tell you about Chet. He
Okay.
said something funny. He said, I don't read music very much. It's got stuff in it I don't understand. When they asked why, he said, "Well, you know, things like notes."
It
kills me.
Anyway, I remember our first show, how it first got started. The first recorded show was 1982, I think, 83. No, 1984, 85. So 85, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And in that time, remember we had it set up on an easel board, and we were, you know, we recorded everything and just made everything up. But I remember how it started, how we got the theme called the Commander CURT Show.
And let's set the record straight. Ray Cummings is the best guitar player on earth today. I know everybody thinks Tommy Emmanuel is, but listen to the touch, man. You know, listen to the... I mean, Ray has it, man. He is the man. Okay, I just want to publicly say that.
Okay.
Ray, that'll be $50. Okay.
Hey, that's right. We can take money because...
I'm sorry, I'm not putting down Tommy Emmanuel. I think he's a great player. I just think he should yandel for Ray.
Right. Well, like I said,
Ray's got the same touch as Chet. He's the greatest, you know.
Do you remember, getting back to that story before I forget, is that when we first started, the very first episode we did of Strummin, the Commander CURT Show, remember we had this easel board.
Yeah, I remember the Toxic Gourmet.
But I wrote down the THE Commander CURT Show, and it was fine. And so I didn't like it, so let's do it over again. So we started filming again, and right when the Commander CURT show. Boom!
I
The
remember
easel
that.
board fell down. And Ink Marker's standing. I'm standing like that. That's how we got that trademark. Every show, and we have
That was cool.
misspell it out every show.
Do you
So that's-
remember?
Yeah.
Remember the things we used to do? We used to do
Killer Laundry.
PMSOR.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Attack of the Killer Laundry, and then there
Funny
was one
stuff.
that one of my favorites was the Operation Room. Your mother, the
Yeah,
whole family's
PMSOR.
involved in it,
That was hilarious.
and it was so funny. But one
Do
of
you
my,
want a sex change? No pity, we had a donor.
the funniest one we ever did was when you jumped over the car ramp on a
Oh, with that little motorcycle.
Yes.
What was that? A CT-70 or something?
CT-70, and you built it up. You know, and we
That
built
was
up.
funny.
That was a popular show back then. It still is.
That was
And-
hilarious.
So later on, when I go edit some of this stuff and put it together for the Strum Time Live reunion show, you're going to see all kinds of that, and we'll play that for you. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know in it. Now, meanwhile, back to the Strum Time Live reunion with Commander CURT and Mike RANSTROM. Mike, take it away.
I'm gonna do a tune called Heartaches. I don't know the words, but it's about a guy's heart aching. You know, I play that tune and I learned it off a Chet Atkins record years ago. I do it a little different. I do it in G. But I always liked his arrangement. But the reason I wanted to learn this song was actually because Barbara Eaton, the I Dream of Jeannie lady, did an album years ago, and that was the one good song that was on the album. Not to say, I mean, she could sing good, it's just she was too beautiful, nobody took her serious, but she was a really good singer. Anyway, it was on that album that I learned that song from. So we'll do another one. Let's do a pretty one. I blew that. Cut that one out, will you, man?
We're live right now.
Yeah, well, cut that out.
I was just checking our feed there, and we've got
Yeah.
something like 37
Yeah,
people
but I don't
right
want to
now.
leave that one on there. I'm gonna do that again.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it again. podcast. Forgot about that. But you can edit it later, though, right?
I believe so, yes. But right now we are on live.
We are live, man.
That's right.
Nobody told me we were live, man. I'm gonna need more coffee for live.
Okay, I'll go get you some coffee.
Well, here we are in the live broadcast of from the studios here in Solid Video Production. I'm looking around at all this really nice stuff and thinking what I can shove in my bag when Curtis isn't looking. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. No, you don't have to search it. Okay, well, I brought that with me. You have one just like it. Here we go, man.
Oh, that's a great shot over there. I'm looking live in the studio. And that's off their phone. Anyway, once again, thanks for joining us today.
Once again, let's say goodbye to the blues, man. So you should have had some old memories to show during the live broadcasts.
I'm working on that.
Don't cry, don't sigh, bye-bye blues. Bye-bye blues. I'm gonna play this one again because I screwed it up earlier and now I'm half awake. Play the guitar, it helps if you think about what you're doing.
Well, you know what you're doing, Mike.
I know, but I smelled that coffee and it got the best of my brain, so. flubbed it. You know, this was a tune that was usually accompanied by a washboard. It's a tune called, I forget the name of it. I just need to get the bridge to that. Are you ready for the washboard?
Yes, I am.
This is a little tune that we wrote back in the 20s, back when Curtis was a teenager. Little tune called 12th Street Rag.
Oh yeah, well that's the way it was back in the step in front of the camera there. Get this back
in the old days when they did those things, the stuff they did with the things they did, all that stuff with the things and the things with the stuff.
Yes.
And then all the things got done because of the stuff they had to do with it, and then all the stuff made it possible to do the things. And you understand what I'm saying, right? Biden 2020. You know the thing.
That thing, yes.
I think I already did this one. We'll change the tune. I don't know why I can't play today. I haven't had enough coffee. going over some old memories
Yep.
of,
And
you know.
I'm your host, Commander CURT from Strummin Time Live, and along with musician. And Mike, you appeared in over 197 shows. I counted that out. Every time you were there, you not only did the camera, you did the microphone, you hosted.
197 shows.
Yeah, 197 shows. I looked it up, and you know, it was really amazing because you were there, and when musicians didn't show up, you filled in.
That was cool.
I remember one show. Well, do some more jamming. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mike RANSTROM.
Oh, I'm just dinking.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
What were you saying about the show?
Oh, I was saying that one time you, I used to work for Seafair and down hydroplane races, and I was out, did that about 3 years in a row, and we had the show there, and I remember I was asked to come down and do some interviews and be part of the hydroplane boat camp and all that stuff down there, and you filled in for me. you and Washport Mom, remember that?
Yeah.
You did that 3 years in a row, and you brought some talented people in there. I didn't know. See, that was nice. I felt like I said I was on vacation.
What I'm playing there. More coffee.
More coffee coming up. You know, another memory I remember is that when J.P. Patches came on, it was a rare thing. He did not come out and do interviews. He was very private, but I had the opportunity to be able to see him put his makeup on, transfer from Chris Wheatus into J.P. Patches. He brought his original costume.
Yes, and you were able to help me put my makeup on too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then there was Stan Morrison. He made more appearances. He was great. And
he was great. I love it.
Yeah, the old down to earth guy. He was the guy who did the General Scandinavian, yeah. And then of course there's Pat O'Day, and I'll tell more about that later. But there was Pat O'Day and my father, which was Wacky Wally. They were talking to each other. They started cracking up. They had some private jokes they were talking. So lots of famous people on our show, lots of bands. We did everything from heavy metal, and they wrote a special song, Washboard Willie. They were, man, it was so loud that the neighbors complained about it. And then from the studio, it's so loud. They had the speakers stacked up. And there was another one of my favorites.
Do you remember the first show we did? We went in there, and the desk didn't even have the covering on it yet.
Yep. and we had to set up the platform and stuff. Everything was all banged up, but I had the opportunity to be able to, solicit and help raise funds for that. And every time they brought something new in, new cameras, new thing in the studio. And again, I'll have some pictures I'll show you in just a little bit, but what the studio looked like. So I was there from the very beginning. I was very proud to be able to help and promote the public access. And Strummin Time Live reunion with Curtis Blackwell, aka Washboard Willie, and Commander Kurt, who hosts the show, and of course our world famous musician Mike RANSTROM. Mike, do another number, please.
I'm going to play another song, then I'm going to use the bathroom.
Okay. Okay, why don't you go take care of some business and I'll talk to the
Use
audience.
the bathroom, and
Talk some more.
you can come out here and do a tutorial on tutorialism. Oh, you're gonna get new knees soon.
I shut it. Okay.
There you go, man.
So while you're doing that, let's see. One of the things I remember most about Strummin Time Live was when, like I said, it was a long time ago, and it was our first show. We already talked about that. One of the other shows that we had was where 15. I remember. It was the when the Seafair Pirates came in. They told me that they found out that I had a live show, and I called them up and asked them to come down and do an interview. They said sure, but they didn't say. They said they would come down some year. But I remember it was we were probably maybe 5-6 minutes into the show, and Mike was playing the guitar. A couple of people there talking. We're talking, waiting for him to show up, and all of a sudden you hear this kaboom! This cannon firing, and outside the studio on the street there, they pull up and hear the siren. You can hear us. We're inside of a soundproof studio, but you can still hear them. And here they come, 15, 20 of them in the studio. They just took over the whole show. That was a lot of fun. And then there was also, we interviewed pilots, the Blue Angel pilots. And there was also a gentleman, like I said, Seafair, and I associated my show, did for 2 weeks in a row, Solve Video Productions, in conjunction with Strummin Time Live. We had an opportunity to have a gentleman on who was a hydroplane historian. That's Fred Farley. I met him back in 1960, I believe it was, at hydroplane races. Became good friends with him. And then also, at the same time, he was going through and having the opportunity to be able to talk about hydroplanes. And so in 1980, I took my video camera and talked to him, and he started talking. And the most memorable.
Now tell me about your mother.
Okay, Washboard Mama. Like I said.
How did it all start? When did you first start realizing the psychosis?
Well, we first went from the recorded show, the Commander Kurt show, and they had just opened up like I said, it was 1990, 89 or 90. They opened up, they had finished the large studio. It was there, but wasn't finished, but they had just got the lighting all in and stuff like that. And I got to be one of those people that was asked to start a show, have the first live show, and it was done with a lottery. And so I said, okay, so I volunteered to it, and we got the first. So we got a family together, and I asked my mom, washboard mom, if she would like to be on the show. Sure. So she came in as originally the clean lady, and then she hosted when I wasn't there, or our crew was not able to make it, something like that.
I just need to adjust a few things.
You do?
While you're talking.
What's that?
You need to adjust a few things while you're talking here, man.
Okay, so I remember. I remember.
This gorilla tape is really cool.
I can't
Well,
move.
put your hands together like you're gonna clap. Good job.
Okay.
All
Ouch!
right.
Ouch! Ouch! That's
Does that hurt?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
I'm sorry. Let me do it harder.
See.
I'm taking over the show.
Yeah. So anyway,
Got the coffee.
so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back
Okay.
over. Like I said,
The show's taking a little bit of a change. This coronavirus has really got me down and out financially. I know his family has some money, so I need $10,000 or else.
$10,000.
Or else.
Oh,
10,000 or else.
I'll tell you what.
10,000 or else I'm gonna let him live.
I'm gonna.
Okay, let me check the phones, man. See if I can. Come on, I need them funds, man, right away.
I'm gonna go turn it back over to Mike.
There we go. Oh, good. Hey, they paid. Okay.
Okay, so it's on live.
You're
Once
good.
again-
You're good to go.
Once again, these
I'm
kind
sorry, man.
Ouch.
Yeah, this
Okay.
stuff's really
Ouch.
good tape, isn't it, man?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry, man. I almost had to kill you.
Yeah, right. Anyway, back to the show.
Just put this in my pocket.
Strummin Time Live.
Because this is still good tape.
Okay.
Well, it's,
That?
well, I'm gonna do it.
So-
It's gonna take 6 minutes.
What do you take? Okay, that's fine. It's not like you can come and shut us off.
Just do something easy,
Okay.
So let's play
Mike
some.
has recently learned to play the banjo. He
Because
learned it
my
from
wife was not home and I could practice it, you know.
Washboard Willie.
'Cause every time I take out the banjo, she says, "You got a pretty mouth, boy."
Okay, Mike on the banjo. Strummin Time Live reunion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching Strummin Time Live reunion with your host, Commander Curtis Blackwell, aka Washboard Willie. I'm gonna say goodnight. Special thanks to Mike RANSTROM here, and so we'll see you next time in about 2 months. Another special Strummin Time Live, and don't forget, in about 2 weeks you'll notice on YouTube, cellvideoproductions.com, a complete reunion of all the shows put together and pieced together in a 1-hour special. So we're going to go out here and say goodnight. Thanks for watching. Copyright 2020, Cell Video Productions. Okay? So, here we go. Let's do it fast.